I'm here in Lake Arrowhead, California, and I've got to build a railing today. Here on the lake, these railings have to be approved. And right out there you see that 2x2 balustrade, 2x4 on the bottom, 2x4 on the top with a 2x6 cap. That's a common approved railing. You can see it there on the tree house and here on this house. That one's a little custom right there. I bet it had to be approved, but you can see it up on that house in the background. This house here, now this one's interesting. They're 6 inches apart. Code changed several years ago and it has to be 4 inches apart. Here is the one we're doing. We've got the posts up, but we're going to build the railing today. I'm going to show you a couple things. I'm going to walk inside. So we've walked inside, and this deck was originally built as an open deck. This area underneath wasn't enclosed, and somebody else enclosed it. But it was flat. It didn't have slope in it, so we ripped it off, and we put this wedged piece right there. It goes down to 0 on top of these beams, and then 1.5 inches of plywood. The posts come through and they are locked in place with these rim lock bolts. Ideally they'd be a through bolt. Not really possible. It's possible but not practical in this situation, but these are approved and okay to use in this situation. So this is a new waterproof deck. It's a polymer modified cement, and the posts now, they're solid as a rock. They go through the deck, and right here they tend to break. So if we get over here, you can see that that corner was reinforced with fiberglass, several layers of it. That will, even if this does crack, because they expand and contract at different rates, that fiberglass will keep the water from penetrating and standing there. And this will get cleaned off. But we're going to build the railing on these posts right here. So we have a little bit of an unusual situation here. This is at some weird angle, and this is at some weird angle. We don't know what that is, so I'm going to show you how we get the appropriate miter cut. So I'm just holding the board in place where it goes. Steve is going to place another board on the face of this, and what he's done now, go ahead and pull that out, Steve. Show him the pencil marks, point at him for me. He's made a pencil mark on either side of that 2x4 he had. That's where it intersects, and then the cut is between those two long points, and that'll give you the exact angle for the miter. So let's go cut that, and then we'll put this board in place. So we're putting the balustrades in right now, and the code says that this distance can be no more than 4 inches, and same here. So we've got it cut to 4 inches over there. It's actually like 3 7/8. And whatever it ends up over here is fine, because that's the slope in the deck that's changing that dimension. Steve likes to do everything nice, so he lays out, pre-drills everything, and gets them all ready. And the way we space these is we just cut a 4-inch block, set it in there, mark it, and screw it in place all the way around. The other thing that's important is you don't start from one side to the other. You start in the center and work out. That way whatever gap you have there is going to be equal to the gap that you have on the other side. So that one just worked out real nice. We don't have a funny spacing, but it is what it is. Steve hates that expression, but it is what it is, and we can't change it. Visually, you just pick up the pickets and the spacing in the pickets or balustrades, whatever you want to call them. And that's what we're shooting for. Next time I show you this, we should be done with it. I know this is pretty simple, but I'll go ahead and show you how we cut these. Take a square. Line all the bottoms up. Good. Measure it. There's the safety glasses I wasn't wearing. But the point of this is a very nice job. Well done, but no fancy chop saws. Just with a skill saw. And you can do a nice job. If I were one of the fancier YouTubers, I'd be selling you bunch of equipment that you don't need. So, just a skill saw, square, level, pair of safety glasses, you saw me pointing there, and level, square, by the eye, the line, and the level. That's what they say. So I just thought of something I didn't say. You put this all together with deck screws. Don't nail it or staple it or any of that other stuff. It takes a little more time, but nails with the expansion and contraction will come apart. I mean, we get a lot of weather here. It's we're at 6,000 feet elevation, so, and it's December 2nd or 3rd, and I can't believe there's not a couple foot of snow piled up here, but we've got great weather, so we got this done. But the point of that weather is we want to use screws to put this together because everything's moving back and forth. Hot, cold, hot, cold. It can get up to 90 up here in the summer. It's pretty rare, but so a lot of moisture. This has to be all caulked, filled, and painted, but we're the carpenters and the painters will be in after us, so I won't show you that. So it's a pretty basic, simple, straightforward railing to make. I think we probably got about two of us, about 6 hours in this. I got one last little thing I'll come back tomorrow and do is I'm going to take a router and curve each side of this away from the center so any moisture gets in there wants to shed off. And while I'm here, I've got to repair this trim here, and the reason that was cut up is because I wanted to get this siding loose so that I could get the metal tucked up underneath the siding and under the paper on the house, so I needed to pull that away to get it nice and tight, nice and tight seal between the paper and the metal, with the paper and the siding over the top of the metal. The metal's tucked up underneath. Now we've pulled the siding on the door loose to make sure everything was caulked and sealed in there, and we ran fiberglass up under the door, and so that's sealed really well. It's not the best possible situation, but it's a really good situation if you take your time and get it glassed in really well. This will get painted. That's somebody else's job, but we got the waterproofing down. It's tied really well. The posts penetrate the deck. I really don't like to do that when I can avoid it, but we couldn't avoid it because there's no way for us to bolt the post on the outside of the deck. We have this roof around here, little shed roof coming off of here. The little goops that came off while we're here tomorrow, we'll run a wire disc over those and knock those off. It'll be real clean. We also want to run a wire disc over everything so the paint sticks to it. It has a tendency to have a little bit of oil and junk from people handling it and from manufacturing, so when we run the disc over it, the paint will really bite into it. So Our joints are nice. You can see that from the trick I showed you earlier. Everything's nice and level. And let's see. That's pretty basic. Nothing too exciting about this, but that's how you do a railing and make it legal. You could tether a battleship to this thing. It wouldn't move. So that is your railing. I thought I should give you a view of the railing from the street. Looks like everybody's railing. Those guys are easy to put together. Oh, the hardest thing about that is the poles where they penetrate the post, where they penetrate the deck. Really hard to get those plumb. We spent a lot of time shimming and plumbing them up so that they would be nice and straight. If you don't, your balustrades will look cocked against the post, and you can't hide that. So it's worth taking your time to shim and plumb the posts.